Thank you for joining me in my sacred circle. Thank you for joining me in drawing down the moon system of Reiki. Thank you for joining me in this lesson about the very first card in the Healing with Ki deck. This very first card is, just for today, can we let go of anger? This is another video in a series of about 60 videos that will be coming out over this year. The series introduces the 54 cards in my new Oracle deck called Healing with Ki, and we'll talk about the meaning and the frequency introduced in each card along the way. We'll learn techniques to connect with that frequency and how it is connected to Universal Ki. My name is Lisa Ayers. I am a holistic healer and a Reiki master teacher, as well as a practicing pagan. And I've been working with Ki for over 25 years now. So, what are the Healing with Ki cards? They are a set of 54 cards. Like I said, inspirational and educational lessons. It's my life's work. It's this 25 plus years of experience put into a deck of cards. Each of the cards is connected to a teaching about Universal Ki in our existence. The cards, the companion book, and this video series were all created to be tools of empowerment and inspiration for this world. You'll also find several other inspirational and educational videos on my YouTube channel, and I've made videos for my students over the years. So I designed this healing package not only to shed light on the issues that need your attention, but also to guide you in connecting with the correct frequencies that are going to balance your imbalances. So it's not just about learning what's wrong, what's out of balance, but how to get you to balance. When we heal our own systems, we're healing the greater world around us. And we can use this inner work to shift our outer energy and in all the layers of our existence that surround our souls. So each card offers an exercise, a meditation, or a ritual to help you heal both your inner world and your outer world. Let's talk a little bit about Reiki. If you've been attuned to Reiki, fantastic. You can deepen your Reiki practice with these cards. And I will incorporate the Reiki frequencies and the Reiki lessons into the lessons about these cards. But no, you do not need to have Reiki to use these cards. I specifically designed the cards to be used by anyone because Universal Ki is available to anyone. Reiki is just one of the ways to tap into it. So, today we're talking about card number 1, which is the Reiki principle number 1. Just for this moment, can I let go of anger? The vibe is peace and contentment. So let's talk about the Reiki principles. The Reiki principles are kind of rules for life. They help to ensure good health and good luck. Our founder of Reiki, Mikao Usui, would say, "This is surely the secret process to bring a good fortune and also miraculous medicine to remedy all kinds of diseases. This is the first step in reaching that miracle." The principles have been part of everyday life for most Reiki practitioners. They've become a daily mantra for many practitioners. Our master Usui taught us to chant or pray or feel the principles in our hearts twice a day, morning and night. It's through these admonitions that we learn to live in this moment, free of unhealthy emotions, free of unhealthy vibrations in our energetic field. The principles teach us to let go of things that are bringing us harm. So Yusui taught his students to incorporate them into their daily activities to encourage health and balance in every moment of life. The principles serve as basic tenets for treating yourself and treating all other living beings as they should be treated. They're guideposts to a healthy and happy lifestyle, and they're taught as part of the very first lesson to any student of Reiki. The precepts were loosely based upon Buddhist teachings. And those Buddhist teachings were to remain in the moment. They remind us that it's not what happens to us that defines who we are and what our lives will be, but rather what we do in response to that, how we react to life circumstances that make us who we are. And because we have control over how we react, we now have control over our lives and over our energy and over what we're bringing into our life. These experiences determine how harmonious and peaceful our lives can be. So we can choose to teach ourselves that we are in control of our own lives and our own health and our own experiences. You can think of the principles more like a path towards our Buddha nature. Buddha nature is that divine power that everyone naturally possesses, that spark of the universe or the all that is within all of us. And what we need to do to find this Buddha nature is simply to look inside for that little tiny spark and feel it and know it and start to become that spark. So Yusui taught us to sit in Gasho, to feel each ideal in our heart, in our very core, in our very being, to speak them out loud every morning and every evening as a part of your daily meditation practice. Now, don't get scared away by that. We don't all have daily meditation practices. You can still incorporate these lessons into your life regardless of what your daily practices are. Just think of them as just for this moment, right now. Okay, just for this moment. I always like to talk about honor and recognition. Honor and recognition is due to Walter Lübeck, and he wrote a book called The Reiki Way of the Heart. And much of this lesson, this philosophy, comes from that book. It's an excellent book. It's not in print anymore. If you can find an old copy, it's fantastic. It's also very hippie. So you'll love it if you are a hippie. So, card 1, just for this moment. Can we let go of anger? Can we bring ourselves into a vibe of peace and contentment, love, kindness, empathy? This principle reminds us of the relationship-affirming benefits of living in peace and contentment. People enjoy being around people who are peaceful, people who are happy, people who are content. They don't want to be around people who are angry and frustrated all the time. If we're consumed by our rage, our jealousy, our defensiveness, we start to block ourselves off from other people, and other people start to put blocks up against us as well. And we're energetically cutting ourselves off from the people around us. And that's preventing us from having further experiences of peace, of contentment, and of connection. We don't want that. We want that connection. We want that peace. We want that contentment in our lives. So we want to choose to have those experiences. So on the night of the next dark moon, or the new moon, when the moon is not illuminated, when it is dark, the new moon, you want to perform this following ritual. And the ritual is designed to let go of deep-seated anger. So between now and the next new moon, take some time to think about what anger you're holding on to in your heart, what frustration you're holding on to in your heart, and think about what you want to let go of. Not necessarily what you're ready to let go of, but what you want to let go of. Write those things down and then perform this ritual. So the ritual is going to begin by ritually cleansing yourself. Why do we do that? We cleanse ourselves because we are taking ourselves into a sacred space. We're asking for help. We're being vulnerable. We're saying, I have this thing that I don't want to hold on to anymore. Please help me release it. Please help me shift this vibe. Please bring a different frequency into my life so that I can smash this frequency up and rebalance and move forward at a different frequency. But we wouldn't want to visit with the divine being dirty or angry or unbalanced. We don't want to bring our muck to that experience, right? So we ritually cleanse ourselves first. Today we'll do the Kenyoku, which is a ritual cleanse that we learn in Reiki. It's best to do it standing up. And what you do is you start with your dominant hand, ground and center yourself. Feel yourself connected to the earth, because of course we release all of our negativity into the earth or out into the universe. Either way, for the greatest good, intending that that negative junk doesn't get stuck on anyone else. So when you feel good and grounded on the night of the dark moon, the new moon, bring your hands together and set your intention. Just for the moment of this ritual, I will let go of anger. Dominant hand to the opposite shoulder. And then sweep across with a deep breath, breathing in to your dantian, down to the hip. Sweep away with your breath. Now, some people do this ritual 3 times, and some people do it only once. The next step, same thing, other side. Feel your personal power. Arm up. Same thing. You're throwing away the negativity, and I'm not throwing it at you. I'm throwing it away from other people to be released into the universe and transformed to positive energy. Again, some people do it 3 times. It doesn't matter, honestly, how you do it. What matters is the intention behind it. You're clearing your body of negative junk that's no longer serving you, that you don't need anymore. You're clearing your arms, your vessels for action, your vessels for connection. You're clearing that of negativity, things that aren't serving you anymore. All right. The next step is to ritually cleanse your space. Now, you can do that in many different ways. You can do a smoke cleanse, you can bring incense around, you can bring hydrosols, herbal water, just your energy, whatever you like. It doesn't really matter. Again, it's all about intention. But what you do want to do is start at the north point, or if you don't know where north is, start at the doorway of your space, the entryway of your space if you're outside. Again, grounding and centering yourself the same way. And you're going to go counterclockwise, okay? Because we're removing negativity from our space. And you can do that again standing up. I like to do it standing up because I can turn in a circle. And you're going to ground and center in your heart, feel your power center in your belly. Draw in some energy, hold some energy in. 3 breaths usually does it. Now with your breath and your hands, you're going to start to feel that energy flow out, and you're going to turn and imagine the energy blowing with your breath and your hands and your eyes to the outermost points of your sacred circle, sweeping clear your space of anything that doesn't serve you. Again, that's the intention. Anything that doesn't serve you. Feel that quietness that comes over your space. The next thing that you're going to do is create a sacred circle. Now, there are many ways to create sacred circles, but we'll follow one process. What you're going to do, again, feeling the emptiness of the space that you've just created, you're going to now invite in positive, helpful energy from all 7 directions. So again, facing north, or the entryway, if you don't know what north is. Standing tall or sitting tall, feeling that energy center of your body, feeling your center of gravity, feeling your own power. Take a couple of deep breaths. Set your intention for this ritual. Why are you doing it? What do you want to let go of? How will you feel when you let go of it? Think about that as you're grounding and centering yourself, and you're drawing energy into yourself. Now, when you're ready, we're going to imagine a doorway. If you have Reiki and you have the Chokure symbol or the Kriya symbol, these are the perfect symbols to use now. What you're going to do is imagine a doorway or a gateway, and on that gateway is the Kriya symbol if you have it. And you're going to draw and imagine that doorway on the northernmost point of the sphere that is around you. Now imagine that doorway opening and call out through the door. Healers of the North, please join me in my sacred circle, and tell them what your intention is. Join me in my sacred circle to help me release this deep-seated anger that no longer serves me and that I don't want. Help me heal. And then just take a moment to feel those healers joining you in your circle. Feel the energy filling up the circle. It's no longer empty. See that door closing behind them. That door is a protective barrier as well. It doesn't let any negativity in. It only allows what is helpful through for this ritual. All right, turning clockwise. So the east is air, the element of air. Imagine that doorway or gateway again. Draw the symbol on the doorway or gateway. Imagine the door opening and you yelling through it, inviting in the healers of the east and of air. Healers of the east and air, join me in my sacred circle. Assist me in letting this anger go. Assist me in healing from this anger and this pain. Help me to understand the emotions and let them go. Feeling that air energy coming in. And when you feel your sphere is filled with that eastern air energy, close the door again, creating a barrier, a safe space. Thank you to these healers who are here so far. Bringing our attention clockwise to the south. Grounding and centering yourself. The south is fire, passion, also anger, also courage, also strength, also transformation. So imagine these energies coming in as you draw that symbol on the doorway. Open it up and invite that energy in. Healers of the south, join me in this sacred circle. Help me to transform this anger into peace and contentment. Help me to let go of this pain and this passion. Help me to find balance in my life. And just acknowledge and feel that energy. Closing the door behind. Thanking them for their presence. Turning to the west. Water. Emotion. Again, setting that intention of letting this anger go, cleansing yourself of the anger. Drawing that sacred symbol over the doorway that you're imagining. Opening the door up and calling healers of the west and water, join us in this sacred circle. Help me to understand my emotions, to feel them and then let them go, to process them, to allow them to boil over and then move on. And seeing the door close behind the western watery energies. Knowing that no evil, no harmful energy can come from that space while we're here in this sacred circle. Turning to the north to complete our circle and then facing upward. Universal Father male energy. Same thing, imagining a doorway at the uppermost point of the sphere of energy around you, opening up the doorway and asking the universal key to pour down into this sphere with you and to assist you in connecting with the right healing vibes. And you can use whatever name you want for the universal male energy. You can use God. You can use a specific God. You could perhaps find a God that works with anger and emotion and passion. Whatever feels right to you. It doesn't matter. Again, it's all about the intention. So allow that energy to pour down onto you into this sacred circle. And the door is closing behind that energy, keeping you safe, only allowing what's helpful into the sphere. Then turning our attention down to the earth, to the sacred feminine. Again, any goddess that works for you. Perhaps a goddess of love, because opposite of hate is love. Opposite of anger, peace, contentment, kindness. Think about those feelings when you're trying to connect to that feminine energy. Again, opening the doorway, inviting that energy in, that sacred feminine. Closing the door behind her and welcoming everyone into this sacred space and thanking them for being here with you to assist you in this magical work. The last thing we do is we turn inside. We turn to the center. We turn to our inner selves, our higher being, our highest being, and we ask that any of our guides be present to assist us in processing and understanding this anger that we're trying to let go of, and in supporting us to heal from whatever is causing this anger. So set your intention again for the evening. Clearly state it. It could be that over the next 2 weeks between the new moon and the full moon, that you become aware of your triggers, that you are able to write them down, journal for the next 2 weeks about the things that cause you frustration and anger, and an understanding of what is causing those particular incidences to trigger you. Because of course it's never the incident itself. It's something else inside you that needs healing. So ask for help for that information to come forward, that insight, that knowledge. Allow for an open mind. Because you'd be surprised the things, those core truths that are getting irritated, that are causing this anger, you'd be surprised. So just have an open heart and an open mind over the next 2 weeks. Write down all your triggers, all the things that are making you angry. Or if you have a different intention, a very specific anger that you want to let go of, state that intention really clearly. You're going to need a red candle. Now, you can do a lot with this red candle. So, the goal is to allow the candle to represent your anger, and as the candle burns down, so your anger decreases. If you are not able to have the candle be in a safe space, in hurricane cover, where it's not going to cause a fire, if you can't leave it safely on its own and it needs to burn down while you're present, a birthday candle is great. A little tiny tea light or votive candle in a glass container is also great. But remember, this takes a little longer than this to burn down. If it's a big issue, you can go with a massive candle. What you're going to do with this massive candle is you're going to put it out and reignite it for multiple days until it burns all the way down, maybe an hour a day, You meditate with this candle, you burn it down a little bit further, you work on thinking through and feeling and releasing the anger. You decide what's best for you. The benefit of using a large candle like this is that you can etch in representations of your anger. You can etch in magical words, sigils, magical symbols. You can do all kinds of things with it. So there is a benefit to using a larger candle, but it's a much longer ritual. Much more dedication is required because you want to burn this candle right down. You don't want to have any leftover remnants of that anger so that it can boil back up and fester. Something small like this, you can still etch a few little representations of your anger. Something teeny tiny like this, it's more like you're putting the intention of what you're letting go into the candle. So in that case, once you've sort of thought about and set your intention really clearly, you're going to hold the candle in your hand. You're going to think about what you want to let go of. Really, truly feel what you want to let go of. That deep-seated anger, that one thing that you just can't seem to let go. Put all of that emotion into the candle. We're going to use one of these because it's just a little bit easier to work with. So what you want to do is light this candle that represents your anger. If you can, let the candle burn down in one burn. That's why the birthday candle is great. If you can't, like I said, make sure you follow the ritual all the way through to the end. So what we're going to do next is we're going to spend some time in meditation about the issue that's causing you distress. You're going to ask all these guys that you've brought in to be with you, to be present to help you work through the pain, to gain insight into your own patterns, to understand why you feel angry, and to understand why it's okay to let go of that anger, to let go of that fear, to let go of whatever it is that's boiling and roiling beneath the anger. Okay, so this work can be quite intense. That's why it's so important to journal. And that's why we do it over 2 weeks. We think about it, we feel it, we process it, we allow ourselves time to do that. That's the key. So you're asking your spirit guides to help you through this process. Then, while we're sitting here with our burning candle, as it's burning down, we're going to send healing vibes to our root chakra. The root chakra is the base chakra. It's represented in your feet, actually your whole legs, but there is a foot chakra in the middle of your foot that is connected to the root chakra. You can send energy to each of your feet if you like. The true root chakra is right at the base of the body, right at the perineum. And so you can sit right on your hands. If you can't do that, you can send energy through your hips. Your hips represent your root chakra as well. You can imagine earth energy coming up into the root chakra. You can imagine universal ki flowing down into the root chakra. The key is we're wanting to heal the root chakra because it helps to release the energy that's no longer serving you. The aggravation, the aggression, the anger, the frustration, the passion, that's all held in the root chakra. So, if you have Reiki symbols, You can apply Reiki symbols to the root chakra, to the foot chakras. Good symbols are chokure, seiheki, hearth, anything that seems appropriate to you, probably the distance symbol. We just want to apply the symbols that are going to help release. You can also apply those symbols to the crown chakra, because the crown chakra, opening that up, will help you gain insight into why you're feeling this frustration. So, think about the symbols. Think about this positive, healing, supportive energy flowing up through your legs and into your root chakra. And you can sit with this healing energy for as long as you want during your meditation. The longer the candle burns, the longer you have to heal. You can also send healing vibes to your third eye, because the third eye will help you have a deeper understanding of this issue and give you insights into why it's happening. So when you're done with your root, turn your attention to your third eye and give some healing to it. Again, if you can't hold your hand up over the third eye for too long, you can always imagine healing light sparkling down into the third eye. You can imagine breathing in and out through the third eye. That will be helpful as well. At least 3 minutes for each point. Next, you want to apply energy to the liver and the solar plexus. We do this because the liver holds anger, frustration, and self-anger like depression. So we want to be able to heal this organ as well. Allow it to let go of what it's holding on to. We hold a lot of anger in our liver. And what's fascinating is that there is more and more liver problems in our society. And not liver problems that are related to alcoholism or substance abuse, just regular old everyday living. People are getting liver cirrhosis. What does that tell us about the level of anger and depression and frustration in our society? So do spend some time allowing positive healing vibes to flow into your liver. And just to release what doesn't serve you. And again, you can spend as much time as you want here, at least 3 minutes. The solar plexus is right where the diaphragm comes together under the ribs. The liver is right under the right ribs at the bottom. Then you can also heal it from the back as well as the front and even the side. The liver is actually a really big organ. So whatever feels right. Once you're done all that self-healing, what I want you to do is remember to thank everyone who came to help you from all 7 directions, and do it in the reverse way that you started. So thanking in the center, thanking the sacred feminine, the universal masculine, the west, the south, the east, and the north. And imagining all that energy and those doors opening up and going back to where they came from and leaving you in your sacred space. Then, on the next full moon, what you're going to do is take that list of triggers that you've been working on and trying to understand over the 2 weeks, and you're going to compile it all together, and you're going to do another ritual. use Reiki to release the hold of your triggers on your life. Now you've understood. Now you've recognized. Now, okay, been there, done that. We're done with this. We want to let it go. So if you have Reiki, use distance healing. If you don't have Reiki, again, it doesn't matter. Intention is all that matters here. So what you're going to do is build a crystal grid. Here's an example. I'll show a better vision of it later. In this crystal grid, I've used crystals that focus energy and that help to release deep-seated anger and to heal the healer. Because I am a natural healer, I often struggle with taking on other people's junk. So these little mini ones are Amazonite, and they help me to stay balanced and focused. The purpose of the crystal grid is to remove the hold of the triggers on your life. And what you're going to do is keep the crystal grid active from the full moon to the next dark moon. Why do we do this? From the dark moon to the full moon, energy is growing. We're learning, we're understanding, we're trying to build up and draw together all of that energy. At the peak of the full moon, we say, okay, I acknowledge this junk in my life. Now I want to let it go. Now I want this to shrink away from my life. So from the full moon to the new moon again, we focus on releasing, letting go, shrinking away. Off it goes. So that's the purpose of the crystal grid. How do you charge this crystal grid? You can do it with any crystal or any wand, or even just your finger if that's all that you've got. Again, intention is what matters most. Put a representation of your anger, the list that you've been working on. Put it in the center of your crystal grid. Put a focusing crystal, ideally something that's pointed up and only in one direction, not in multiple directions, because you have a very focused purpose for this crystal grid. And then what you're going to do is charge your grid. So in meditation, you want to draw in that universal key. And the intention this time is to bring all the people, places, and things together to help you let go of this anger, to take it away from you, to help it heal, to heal any relationships required to heal so that you can let this go. Put all that intention and all that power into the crystal that we call our master crystal. Focus on the center crystal. And now what you're going to do is draw pie pieces from the center out, over one crystal, back into the center. We do this 3 times. And as we're drawing, we have an affirmation. So say, for example, I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. You're going to do that for every pie piece, from crystal 2 to crystal 3, back to the middle. 2 to 3 to middle. I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. And then from 3 to 4, I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. Say it with purpose and intention and meaning. From 4 to 5, I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. I release this anger from my life. you'll start to feel relief. And that's amazing too. Feel that relief. I release this anger from my life. I don't want this anger in my life. I release this anger from 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 my life. Now, send gratitude and peace and contentment back into this grid, knowing that you're letting go of this anger. You don't need it anymore. Knowing that you've learned the lessons, you're taking those lessons into your life, and you don't need these triggers to trigger you anymore. And you can sit here and send energy into this crystal grid for as long as you feel is necessary. And ideally, you're going to do this recharging every day until the new moon. Letting go. Fun thing to do if you want to feel good about the energy that you've built up is to put a pendulum over your grid and just see what it does. You can ask it to show you the power that's been built up. You can ask all kinds of things, but they often get flowing real fast. Depends on what you've been working on, if your crystals are clean, how balanced you are, how grounded you are. But it's fun to see them go. So play with it, see what happens in your ritual, and I wish you peace and contentment, and I hope that this ritual works wonders for you, and we'll see you next week. Next week we're working on anxiety, worry, letting go of that. Perfect things to let go of. We started this whole process with gratitude and intention. Now we're letting go of all the junk that's gonna get in our way of starting a whole new year, a whole new healing, a whole new you. I can't wait. Blessed be. So I promised I would show the crystal grid a little bit more clearly. This is on a beautiful grid that was made by Heathen Moon. It's a custom grid made for me with part of my logo and the Metatron's cube. The symbol is very healing and protective, and I just love it. I've been working with it for years. So look into it if you are interested in working with healers and guides. The crystals that I used are simply pure crystal single terminated crystals that point inwards to a focus crystal. This one is a single point, goes directly up, sending a very focused energy out into the universe. And then I put in these crystals, these quartz crystals are all you need. You never need more than that. But if you want to, you can add in extra energy. And I chose to use Amazonite because it is healing and because it's one of the stones that works really well for me to rebalance myself and to let go. It's great for healers. So I just added them in to sort of bring that energy in. And then of course there is the master crystal. And this is used to charge the grid. Now, if you are trying to release something, ideally you would go counterclockwise. If you are trying to increase something in your life, you would go clockwise. Start charging your grid by using any kind of symbol, power symbol that you know, and drawing it over the grid. Focusing in yourself and drawing in as much energy as you can, focusing that energy through the master crystal. Then point that master crystal down to the center crystal, and from there begin drawing from one crystal to the outside, over to the second crystal, down back into the middle. And you do that 3 times while chanting a mantra or an affirmation. Then from the second crystal out to the third, and in, chanting again your main focus. And you do that all the way around. It gets confusing if you're chanting and focusing on your mantra as well as trying to do this correctly. It doesn't matter if you don't do it right. Again, it's always about intention. That's all that matters. When you make it back to the first crystal, you're sealing the grid. You can send some more intention into the grid. And then all you need to do is put your master crystal down and walk away and let it do its magic. Send positive energy into the grid at least once a day. Go through the whole recharging as often as you wish, but you don't generally have to recharge it very often. Depends on your power, the power in the crystals, the power of the mantra or affirmation that you chose. Sometimes it'll last a day or two, sometimes it'll last a week or two. But don't forget to put your focus back into the grid every day. That's key. All right. Enjoy your crystal grids.